There are many forms of pain, whether physical or emotional. What if there were tools and products that could help you live pain free? That's what we're going to be looking at in this episode of the New Music Industry Podcast.
You're listening to the New Music Industry with David Andrew Wiebe.
Okay, well, we have another returning guest for today's show. It's singer and entrepreneur Amos Bracewell. How are you today, Amos?
Hello, Andrew. David Andrew Wiebe. Do you go by David or Andrew with your online?
Yes.
Girls, I just call him Shoulders. Call him Shoulders. Because if you meet this guy in person, he is a large man. He's like 6'1", 6'2", and he's freaking, his shoulder, I don't think he works out much. His shoulders are like wide.
Yeah, I do look like a football player. I'm not always consistent with the working out, but I do work out as much as I can. But yeah, it's true. I guess I'm blessed that way.
Well, thanks for having me here.
Yeah. Really great to have you back. And last time we had you on the show was episode 240 in August. Actually, to answer your earlier question, yeah, people do usually call me David or Andrew. Some people do call me DA or DA, and that works too. But yeah, last time we had you on episode 240 in August. And at this point, we're cruising on to 260 episodes almost. I know you've been up to a lot in that time. So why don't we get caught up? What have you been working on?
So Knockout Originals is my company. Knockout Originals, just so it sounds. And I have products, courses that help people get out of pain. I lived a life of severe pain in multiple ways in my life. As a singer, I was often in pain. My shoulders from being, stress of life and sometimes being on a keyboard or just life or financial struggles. I had to figure out a way to get myself out of pain. I was married to my massage machine. I used to have a marble. It's called Matt the Marble. Also, I would drive around with this green marble in a sock. I'd stick it down behind my back. I'd be massaging myself. And Andrew, we do games nights sometimes because we live in the same city. And I used to go, friends would see me leave the table at games nights, and I'd go and I'd open a cupboard door. I'd drape a cloth or something like a hand towel or whatever over my shoulders so that I could press into the cupboard to release the knot, because I would get these muscle knots. It would cause headaches. That's one of the things that's launched is this product, which is called Happy. It's 8 essential oils, and it just wipes out any muscle pain. 3 minutes, gone, all natural, no chemicals. It's changed my life, man. And you were one of the ones who was there at the beginning when I first started down this thing in March. And you're the one that told me I should do something with it. And I first laughed at you. So I'm like, dude, my plate's full. I got these online courses I'm doing. And I was like, essential oils are only for girls. Why would a dude be slinging essential oils?
Yeah. And I mean, I can tell you right now, the product is awesome. Everyone loves how it smells. Even people who are really sensitive to chemical type smells end up loving this stuff. And that's one of the great things about it. But like you said, it's not just that. It's really the fact that it relieves a lot of pain. I used to get a lot of migraines, and it turns out some of that was due to allergies like aspartame and dairy and things like that. I started cutting that out, and it made a big difference for me. But anything in life that really can help you with pain, what a difference maker, right? And a lot of people are carrying pain. Isn't it crazy?
Well, plus this world we're living in with COVID, and everyone's going through more stress. And now it's winter time too. And it's things can get harder winter. And I looked at the stats. It's 3/4 of the populace of the world suffers from some sort of shoulder tension, or else it can be in the lower back too, where your muscle knots are just, they hurt. You're stiff and you're sore. And man, I was married to my massage machine. I used to use my massage machine literally 5 times a day just to find some kind of relief. Yeah, so I'm excited because Happy has changed my life. And thank you, Andrew, because, sorry, my phone's just dinging. I thought I had no notifications go off because you know what? Because you said that to me. It's funny in life how you sometimes got to get out of yourself, out of your own way. And I never would have even considered, this product, and how many people now have bought this product and it's helped them after car accidents. Even athletes just use it for recovery, muscle recovery, because it increases the blood flow. So it takes out soreness from stiff muscles, whether it's from stress or I never would have done this if you, in this case, hadn't have said to me, remember what you said. You were looking at me we were at Jen's.
Yeah.
You smiled and you said, you might be onto something. You might want to do something with this. I was like, I didn't take it seriously then because I was like, well, this is essential oils and I'm a dude. Why would I be I liked how, the smell of essential oils, but I'm like, that's for girls. That's, I'm embarrassed to admit it, but that's what I thought. And I gave out like 100, 200 more samples, lots of samples. And I went through 50 iterations of it. But people, after they got their sample, at least a quarter of them wanted to buy it. And I didn't have a website. I'm like, what do you mean you want to buy this? I'm just giving this to you because it helped me. And I had to work my head around that one, Andrew. I had to get out of my own way. And so I'm thankful that you were the one that first seeded that. You might want to, I think you're onto something. You might want to do something with this. So thank you, Andrew.
Well, absolutely. It was like, oh, right. The heavens parted and suddenly there was an opportunity. You actually gave me a sample early on and I was using it around my friends. And of course that provided me with a bit of a clue. They were like, oh yeah, what is that? And I was like, well, Amos gave me this and it's something he's made for his pain and stuff like this. And they were like, I think there might be some opportunities there. And I'm like, yeah, I know. So I was like, I got to tell Amos. Yeah.
Thank you. A bit of my story is, I talked about pain. My mom passed away 4.5 years ago, 30 days after my really good buddy died. He was my youth pastor. So, 6 years ago, almost to the day, I just a bit longer than that, I moved back from Vancouver, tail tucked between my legs. A lot of mental, emotional pain because a tech company I'd started with a buddy of mine we'd lost, and it was, couple $1 million down the hole of investors' money. We felt embarrassed. I felt embarrassed. I felt like, things with my daughter weren't going good. I realized I made a lot of mistakes as a dad. I'd lost who I thought would be my one, this girl I was dating, and I thought we'd go the distance and we didn't. And then the company, and I was just moved back home. I was jobless, broke, carless, was living in a basement suite, felt like a hovel. And it was really humbling. And, anyway, then my mom, a year and a half later, she passes, and my good buddy, and they were like my lifeline support. So 4 years ago this past summer, I actually moved up to Calgary, Alberta, and I was like, I got to get out of here and restart my life. I'd been through so much loss and trauma. I was like, I don't want to really be here. And that was the first time in my life that I'd ever actually considered going, you know what, I think I want to maybe end this pain. And I'd never been someone that had even had a thought of like suicide. And I wasn't even close to doing it, but that was the time I actually thought about it. I was like, you know what? I know why people would want to end it because I was done. And I was like, why do I want to stay in pain? And so I was like, I have no other option. I got to get out of pain. So I moved up to Calgary, Alberta. You know the story. And I went out there and I had an idea because of a live in-person self-improvement event I'd attended, just before my mom passed away, where vision boarding had taken place. And I tried vision boarding. It never really worked for me. Like some people it really works for, wonderful. I'm happy for them. But I knew I needed something practical to actually, like a systemized approach to attaining my goals, to achieving my goals. So it wasn't just these paper-laid wishes on this wonderful paper that I look at. And they said, if you meditate on it 5 minutes or 5 times a day and you'll manifest in 3, 4, 5, 10 years. And I'm like, yeah, but I want something that's like certain solid. So that's what I did. I went out to Calgary, Alberta, 500 miles away, 2 months. I cocooned myself. I moved in with a friend of mine out there, and I asked them, I said, listen, I got to develop some kind of program to change my life. Do you want to participate in this? And I don't know what it's going to look like, but I think it'd be a lot of fun. It was the best 2 months to that day of my life because I focused on one area of my life, just my music, which I think is relevant because a lot of your listeners are entrepreneurial and musicians. Yeah. And I came back after that, creating that program and having the most forward momentum ever in my life. And then in the following, it was about 9 months after I came back, I recorded an album, I shot and produced 6 music videos and went on a mini tour in 9 months. And I didn't know that at the time, but after I found out, that's actually a lot. And I was like, it makes sense. Because I had this program I developed just to restart my life. At the time, it was called Restart. And then I just realized that I could use this program in multiple areas of my life, not just the area of music. So after having the most productive year, after coming back to my hometown, Abbotsford, I started taking my friends through the program after I realized the program is applicable to any area of life. And then, fast forward, I ended up, creating a program, never, just like the oils, I did this for myself. I never did. And I was happy to share some with you, Andrew, and I was happy to give Fred samples. I didn't think people would want to buy it because it's essential oils. And I'm like, I had my own wrong mindsets around that. And when I created the Gold Within, it eventually became the Gold Within program. It was to help myself get out of pain, mentally, emotionally, because I was like, I'm freaking done, right? So, and that just started transforming my life. My life just went upward from there. But I took friends through it, never thought I would do it as a course online. I'm like, I knew nothing about that stuff. I didn't know ClickFunnels, didn't know anything. And then here we are. And then that's launched, and that's helped a lot of people. Well, you've been through the Goal Within program a number of times now. And what do you think of it?
You can actually see some artifacts of the Goal Within program right behind me. Some of this vision boarding and some of the goal setting and all that. That's as a result of the Goal Within program. There's a reason why I've been through it 3 times. It's because it just helps with clarity. It's like, what am I meant for? Right? Like, what's really important to me? Not just what I say is important to me, not just what the to-do list that I look at every day. If I were to die in a year, what would be the thing that I want to leave behind? And so it has you looking at things like that and asking questions like that. So I love the clarity, and what that clarity does, especially for artists, is it helps with their branding. What is the impact and the difference you want to make in the world? What's the purpose? And it's okay if that branding is like, oh, we want to be a college band that gets drunk and, it's the party band for, that's okay, right? That is a brand, and that you can go towards that. But you can also look at it more critically and say, like, okay, I really want to be able to donate money to this kind of charity, or I really want to help this kind of person who's depressed. And this program is going to get you there, right? It's going to have you looking at what's actually important to me.
Thank you. I'm glad. I know you're a fan of it because you've been through it multiple times, and you've told me this. I've never heard you say it this way. So I'm thankful for what it's done in your life. I know how it transformed my life. I know that there's a lot of people that have been through it now, and now it's actually just launched a week or two ago, launched it online. So there's a private, it's a video program, and there's a private Facebook group, and there's audiobook, there's ebook, there's lots of, and it really helps. So it's funny you said branding. And okay, so the purpose of this product is to it's a rescue. It's 3 R words. I didn't intend a lot of this stuff, but this is how it's worked. This rescues people in 3 minutes from any physical pain that's muscles or tendons. I even use it on my knees after sprinting around my kneecaps because I guess tendons get sore.
Yeah.
The Goal Within program, so rescue, is a reconnection. So like you said, it's like you're here for a reason. Some people know some of that, and some people know all of why they're here. I'm not someone that knows everything about why I'm here. I'm somewhere in the middle, but it reconnects you with what's already been inside you. This isn't like discover out in the world. The greatest, it's like there's a quote about that. The greatest journey a person can ever make is the internal journey. Mm-hmm. External sometimes we have to do because it assists with the internal. But really, it's the gold that you came to the planet with. You have gold in you. I have gold in me. Everyone watching has gold in them. There's purposes, there's skill sets, there's keen awareness and understanding of certain facets in life that you possess is for a reason. And it's that you can not only reach your fulfillment and be a massive blessing to other people, it's that you can grow and grow and grow and become more and more infinitely aware of who you actually are, where you come from, what you're supposed to be going towards. And the Goal Within helps reconnect a person so that they remember that. And it's easy with traumas and pains in life and COVID and everything to forget these things. And then we end up erecting this life that really has nothing to do with our calling, getting into relationships and business partnerships and friendships with people that, and I'm not here, I don't like putting other things down. It's like we settle. And because we settle, we don't fulfill our purpose. And so the Goal Within, it ain't magic, but what it does, it reconnects you with, like you said, Andrew, is why are you here? You're here for a reason. You're not here just to, we're all sitting around waiting to die, basically. And that, just to be straightforward, we all know we're going to die. People die around us all the time. Okay, so how are you going to spend your life? Well, the most meaningful way to spend your life is to find out what is most meaningful to you and pursue it with all your might, throw yourself fully into it. And then you get the satisfaction of knowing you've done your part to fulfill your purpose. And you end up lighting up the planet along the way and encouraging and help healing, even inadvertently, a lot of other people that may have needed your particular type of candle to help light their particular type of darkness so that they can get out of that mess and get on to what God has for them. And that's what the Gold Within does.
I really love how you've bundled up the Gold Within and Knockout Originals. And I sort of get that, it's all about reducing pain. What did it look like for you to kind of combine those efforts or create synergy between them? Like in a way that was already there, ripe for the taking, right? But on the other hand, some people might have just looked at that and gone, well, I have this course and I have this product.
Yeah. Well, Andrew, anything I'm doing that's mattering, I got to tell you, I give the credit to God. Like, it's not like I haven't made choices. We all make choices. And, I come from a religious background. I don't attend church, but I really believe we are made in God's image, God's likeness. So small g gods. I'm not big G God, but if we're made in the God class and God created this world with his words and framed this world with his words, I frame my world with my words. And so I'm keenly aware that it's important what I say about myself. It's important what I speak over others, because I speak whatever's in here. So as I've grown in this awareness, Andrew, it's given me an understanding that all the good things I have, it's because honestly, I'm a human being. I didn't make myself. If this cup told us that, it made itself, we'd be looking at this cup going, you're a lunatic. You didn't make yourself, right? Or a laptop sitting on the thing going, well, I made myself. And so this is what I'm going to decide is reality. It's like, all I've done is I've learned to listen to God and receive what I believe that God wants to impart to all humanity, is that we are loved and we have divine purpose, and that there is great hope no matter what tragedies you've been through. So when it comes to my things that I've created, I never wanted to do this. This was given to me. I was even shown how to formulate this. The Gold Within, I never planned on sharing it. I felt like in my desperation, I was crawling out to God going, save my ass, God, because I don't want to be here anymore. And then the other program, which is the one that the third R is reprogram. The reprogramming, the 7 life lessons, I never planned on making that program either. I knew I needed to learn lessons that my dad, I'm sure, had tried to teach me, or my mom had tried to teach me, but I never had a good relationship with my dad. In fact, I hated him. That's just the truth. I hated him growing up because we didn't connect. We're wired there's some similarities, but we're very different people. Now our relationship is good, but I'm almost 46 in December. Next month I turn 46, but it took a long time to get there. And so I did not listen to the lessons he was trying to tell me and model for me. And maybe some of you are like that. Maybe some of you realize that there's some things you're missing in life because your legs keep getting cut out from underneath you. Every time you get momentum, you get tripped up. And that's what's happened to me, Andrew. After I made the Goal Within program, I would use the program, like you said, to start achieving some pretty freaking awesome things in life. But I would get momentum and I'd still get tripped up. And then I start asking questions. Why do I keep getting tripped up? I see other people freaking running in life, whether they're music careers or business, relationships, parenting, and they're not getting tripped up over and over and over again by getting in these dysfunctional situations. And there's that great saying, I think it's in The Art of War. It says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy without can do us no harm. And so I knew that I came to accept the painful reality that the only reason I'm getting tripped up is because there's enemy in the gates. So somehow I unintentionally let the enemy in my head. And so that came from childhood tapes and teenage tapes and all this stuff. And mistakes I'd made, sure, things I went through. And so I created this, I didn't know at the time, but the 7 life lessons to freaking reprogram my life, because my mind needed reprogramming. I didn't know that my mindsets were tripping up. So all the momentum the Goal Within was giving me was wonderful. I had power and joy back in my life, but I was getting tripped up still. And so that's what the 7 life lessons, which is the last, and these 3 products bundled together at Knockout Originals, so that the physical thing helps rescue you when you need rescuing from physical pain in 3 minutes. You can freaking time it. Yeah, I know you know this. I seriously have timed it. Whatever the muscle pain is, in 3 minutes, it's gone. The Goal Within reconnects with, why am I even here, so that there's new hope in your sales. And the last thing is that any reprogramming you need, the 7 life lessons video program and private Facebook group and all that, and the coaching that comes in it, it just helps you get rid of the stuff that trips you up so that you fly. You start soaring in life. And so I didn't plan on ever doing any of these 3 things or putting them together. I feel like this is a gift that was given to me as I walked this path out, Andrew. So
Hmm.
I get the credit I get is that I'm saying yes to what I feel like I'm called to do. So that is my personal responsibility. I could have said no, but the thanks I give is I give thanks to God, because without without God, I wouldn't be on this planet. I wouldn't have had these ideas. I'm the conduit it's coming through, and I'm saying yes because it's freaking amazing, right, Andrew? But that's where it came from.
And I've given samples to a few people, and they've come back to me and said, wow, this stuff really works, right? And especially in a place like Calgary. I live in Abbotsford right now, and you know that obviously, but I have lots of family and friends in Calgary. And so pressure headaches, very common, migraines, very common. And they found this to be a very effective solution for them, really, really help them relieve some pain. So even that alone is like a really big thing.
Do we want to spend our life in pain? Who likes staying in pain?
Right. Yeah.
No, we're not meant to be in pain. Pain is an unfortunate part of life. And sometimes we need to put ourselves intentionally into painful situations to force ourselves to grow. That's what we do when we work out. We freaking break down a muscle, which is painful, to grow. But when we're going through pain and it's not for a growth desired end, it's just like a migraine, or it's stress shoulders, or it's emotional, mental pain. We're not meant to stay there. That's why people give up, is because there's no hope. If there's not hope to get out of pain, if you had to go to the gym and right as your last rep, that tearing you feel, if you're doing bench press, you're doing squats, like it feels great, gets harder. If you're going to your last rep, it's like you're literally tearing the muscle fibers. So imagine living a life of constantly tearing your muscle fibers. There is no chance to rest them, give them nutrition and regrow. They don't get stronger. You're constantly in a state of pain. This is why people give up, because there's no hope. We have to have hope. We have to have rest. We have to have recovery. We need things to help get us out of pain as we're at our journey to discovering, like, all the discoveries that life holds for us.
I'm going through a bit of a transition right now. We had a little bit of a conversation around that, and obviously I'm excited, but I've also had those low moments. So the thing that I'm really present to, it's like, wow, now might be the time for me to go looking, right? Going inside and maybe starting a new Gold Within program to see what sort of habits I can create and facilitate to really have the life that I want. And something my coach said to me today, he's like, you're a producer. You get things done. You've accomplished so much this past quarter in my leadership program. And now you're going to go and take on something that's way bigger and scary, and something that will stretch you well beyond anything you've ever done. I'm like, I don't know what that is yet, but I love that. I really love that.
That's powerful. He's calling you up. It's a guy. He's a dude. Yeah. He's calling you up. He's saying, Andrew, you're meant for more. And he's throwing down the gauntlet and going, you're going to rise.
Exactly.
That's powerful.
So I definitely intend to get to that point. Yeah. So we're going to put a link in at the closing segment. And if you're watching the video, we'll put it in right here now. And you can go to get your free sample of Happy along with the Gold Within program. So make sure to go and get all that.
My slogan is pain is now optional.
Right. Pain is now optional.
I lived with pain so long, and I know you did too, in your shoulders. And it's, man, I tell you, it's now optional. And even if you never took the courses, just get out of physical pain. It's actually now optional. You don't have to be in pain anymore. And that's a freaking bold statement. But I know when people, whether they get a sample or they buy a pack, they're going to see it. And we give a 30-day money back guarantee anyway on the pack. So people, they can go even check out the testimonials. There's a bunch on the website. Which
is really great. And it's crazy because sometimes I don't even notice. I'll go to get a massage and they're like, you're really knotted up. And I'm like, oh, really? I didn't know. So it's really nice to have a way to daily manage that sort of thing. Yeah, definitely. Without having to, go through a really painful massage. I think last time I did it, it was very painful. Yeah. Well, I really appreciate this conversation, Amos. Is there anything we didn't cover here that you'd like to get into before we wrap up?
No, thanks for having me on. I appreciate I could tell a bit of my story, and I'm looking forward to hearing the stories of people who get out of pain, whether it's with the physical product or the courses. We just launched it last week, and there's a couple of handfuls of people in the online program so far. And I'm going to start actually marketing it coming in January. So then a lot more people will be joining. But I'm excited about just the fact that I get to do something that encourages other people and that helps them go and pursue their dreams pain-free.
Great. Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk again soon. So thanks again, Amos.
Thanks, Andrew.
So if you're ready to crank your amps up to 11 and embark upon your Budokan journey, the 2022 edition of the Music Entrepreneur Code is ready. Of course, I'm funky enough to have set up a short link for you. I don't mean I'm stinky. I mean I got some serious groove. You can go to musicentrepreneurhq.com/code 2022. That's the numbers 2022. Great stocking stuffers. Just saying. This has been episode 257 of the New Music Industry Podcast. I'm David Andrew Wiebe, and I look forward to seeing you on the stages of the world. Thank you for listening. Music in this episode was brought to you by Brian Young. Wherever you're listening to this right now, please consider leaving a 5-star review and comment to help us get the word out about the podcast. Hey, thanks for watching Music Entrepreneur. Just so you know, between now and November 19th, 2021, if you purchase any of our e-bundles, courses, or coaching programs on content marketing musician created specifically to help you get results in your music career, we're giving 50% of the proceeds to the education of underprivileged children in South America. This is to honor my late father and grandparents who also contributed greatly to the cause. Head on over to contentmarketingmusician.com/products to check out our selection. And if you don't see what you need or have a request for some other training, feel free to let me know. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.